Well, what I can't understand is what Pat Narduzzi is thinking. Hey everybody, Marky, Billson here. Now we're going to do 2 podcasts today. I want to talk a little bit about the last, for the time being, and hopefully only for the time being, Pitt-Penn State game on Saturday. This is the one football game every year, based on my background and all that I really get pumped up for. And of course, it's not going to be played anymore, so there you go. But I mean, in terms of watching with 2 fists and, right there, focusing on the screen and, emotion on every play, Pitt-Penn State. Yeah, that's the way it is. You get in the sports media, and a lot of times, it's okay, you're professional, don't ride the highs and lows. You can't be the fan, all that. Pitt-Penn State, a little different. That's when I remember my roots. That's when I remember my mother having a Mellon Fellowship at Pitt, and then her first college professor position was at Juniata, 26 miles south of State College, where Jerry Sandusky got his start, among others. But anyway, and just what a culture shock it was. And Mrs. Beck, who once spit on a Pitt Nerf football. Yeah. So the Pitt-Penn State game really does mean something to me. But, the University of Pittsburgh are the defending ACC Coastal Division champions, and they can still get no respect, including from their own football coach, who evidently does not believe that they can score from the 1-yard line. The decision of Pat Narduzzi to try for the field goal there, and do not blame the kicker for missing it. I mean, it's irrelevant. It really is. It is like, I don't know, trying to blame Chris Davis for striking out against Clayton Kershaw. You don't blame Davis for that. You blame the manager for putting him up as a pinch hitter in the first place, okay? And it's the same thing here. And, I mean, it even goes against Narduzzi's former decision. The year before, when it was 7-6, Pitt had the ball at the 3-yard line. Second quarter, they go up by just kicking a chip shot field goal. I know the weather conditions weren't great, but still, talking about a 20-yarder, come on. He says, no, we're going to go for the touchdown here. They were held, and it completely changed the football game. What was 7-6 wound up being a 51-6 final. But this time Pitt had a real legitimate chance. Kenny Pickett really came out, answered his critics, threw for almost 380 yards, had a wonderful day, did not have the benefit of field position, and oftentimes not even the benefit of play calling, due to the fact on the drive in which Pitt took the ball to the Penn State 1 late in the fourth quarter. At one point, Narduzzi was going to punt on 4th and short from midfield. Well, he called timeout, was talked out of it somehow and all this. Question I think, though, we've got to start asking a few things. First, why can't Pitt score from the 1? Remember 2 years ago from Virginia Tech game? They scored from the 1 there. They're going to 11 straight bowl games. They don't have a losing record in the regular season since 2007. The entire perception of the program is dramatically changed. As it stands, like I said, their ACC Coastal champs defending cannot get any momentum off of that. And what this decision, it is so egregious. And because it costs a game against Penn State, the last time a coach for Pitt made such an egregious decision against Penn State in this situation, 1989, Walt Harris, and he was fired after the game. Now, I don't think Narduzzi should be fired at this point. Hey, there are still 9 games left. But his job should be put on watch. The call, the decision was just that bad. And let's face it, Here's a guy who really looked like he had Pitt on the right track in 2016. They did beat Penn State. They did beat Clemson. Pitt has not been able to grow from that victory against Clemson. Since that game, they're 13-15. Have not been able to capitalize on the Coastal Division Championship either among their fan base, the people of Western Pennsylvania, or really, performance. Pitt is 1-2 right now. A victory against Penn State would have meant the same thing. No, it would have even meant more. Check that. It would have equated Pitt with Penn State. 4-year series would have been 2-2. On top of that, it would have been the final blow. It would have meant as much now as 12-0 did back in 2000. And remember 12-0? Remember how Pitt became, for several years, the better of the two football programs in Pennsylvania after beating Penn State in 2000. Remember that? Remember Larry Fitzgerald? Remember how Pitt had become a nationally ranked program once again, even made a New Year's Day Bowl in 2004. The opposite is now true. Penn State has that last blow. Penn State is now, able to, even though, ACC, Big Ten, all that, and I really think that they are very even conferences, but Penn State's taken 3 out of 4. It wasn't even Steven. Now, I saw a fan on social media, and as I said, Narduzzi should be put on watch. He has not elevated the program, A. B, that decision and to lose against Penn State, that's the sort of call that if you make it, it became a national joke. The national media really called out Narduzzi. I'm calling out Narduzzi. And the thing is, Pat, I know it seems knee-jerk, but as I said before, you haven't built the program up. Saw a fan ask if Dave Wannstedt, only Pitt coach to win 10 games in a year since 1981, should come back. Now, he should never have been fired in the first place. That was Steve Peterson trying to find his own man. How'd that work? Yeah. First thing I said is I dismissed. I was like, you got to be crazy. I mean, he's not even coaching right now. But then I thought, wait a minute, Mac Brown? Or even for that matter, John Gruden. But let's stick with Mac Brown. Now, as I said, 17-10 is going to loom over Pitt for perpetuity. It really is this cement that says they're not equal. Penn State is up here and Pitt is down here, despite the 9-2 advantage in national championships Pitt has over Penn State, but many of them were won long ago, as we know. But here's the thing about Dave Wannstedt. When he became the Pitt coach, and initially he struggled, but when he came, he went to all the high schools in the WPIAL, Western Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic League, and really created a lot of bonds with those Western Pennsylvania high schools. And that's how Pitt was able to win several recruiting battles and really become a fine program that won 27 games in 3 seasons under Wannstedt. Wannstedt is not the only hope for a savior. Although, yes, I think he can bridge some recruiting gaffes that will happen now that Penn State has the last word on Pitt. But since the program really hasn't gone anyplace, since those big victories of 2016, and really even the division championship, Coastal Division Championship last year, gotta say this about Pitt, watch has to be put on Narduzzi. He should be put on watch, and he should be coaching the final 9 games to save his job. I'm Marky Billson. If you like this, I want you to go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Marky Billson, just, all that. You're going to see more than 500 videos of all sorts of wonderful interviews, as well as my own commentary, interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. You're going to enjoy it. I'm Marky Billson. I'll see you soon.